Okay, good morning, dears. So we completed each one lesson in history, geography, and civics. So today I'm going to start the second lesson in geography again. Those who got your book, you can take book page number 7. It is given in page number 7 in your book, and I have shown you the page also in this video. So those who not having the book, you can listen towards this video also. So this lesson name of the topic is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So as when I'm reading this topic itself, you all know how important these things all for us. Without these things we can't live. For human life, not only for human life, for all the living things, it is very, very essential and necessary. So we are going to see the importance of land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources in this lesson. So first we will see the topic of land. It is also given in the same page. If you read the first line itself, you will be able to understand how important land is. Land is among the most important natural resources. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface. So land is the very, very important and most natural resource which is very, very useful for human beings and for all the living beings. Okay, so but when we compare towards whole the earth, only 30% of the earth has been covered with by means of land. The remaining are water area, you all know it well. And at the same time, if you see the near column, do you know, if you read there, 90% of the world population occupies only the 30% of the land area. So 90% of the people in the world totally, they are occupying this 30% of land area. Okay, so the remaining 70% of land is either sparsely populated or uninhabited. So what they are conveying is, in earth when we are comparing the percentage of land, out of 100 percentage of land, only 30 percentage of land has been used by the people and other living beings. Remaining 70% are sparsely populated or inhabited. Means sparsely, what is the meaning of the word sparsely is less in number. The meaning of the word sparsely is less in number. Means, for example, forest area is not been used conveniently by all the human beings or all the living beings, isn't it? Domestic animals cannot live inside the forest, and human beings also is not convenient to live inside the forest. But at the same time, few peoples like tribal people and the wild animals are able to live inside the forest, isn't it? So that is known as sparsely, less in number. They will live, but there is no high population, only less number of people will be living there. That is known as sparsely populated. And inhabited means nobody will live there. That is known as inhabited. The place will be there, there will be the source of living and whatever it is, but no people or no living things will be there. That is known as inhabited. Okay, so only out of 100 percentage of land area, only 30 percentage has been used frequently by the living beings. Remaining 70 percentage is sparsely unpopulated or uninhabited. So I hope you understood the meaning of sparsely and uninhabited. If you can't understood, I have written it in this video also at the back. You can see this. So the uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristics of land and climate. This is a very important point. See, even though we are having much more land facilities in the world, why we are preferring to live only in this 30 percentage? Means this 30 percentage is convenient to give us a proper land area, water facilities, surroundings, environment and etc. So that 70 percentage is not convenient for the living beings in a proper way of surrounding and environment. So the land facilities and climatic conditions are differing for the living beings. This is the main reason to prefer that 30 percentage of area. Is it clear? Okay, next we will see. So so what are all the types of areas we are having covering in this land is logging, desert areas, thick forested areas, or normally sparsely populated or uninhabited. So land areas means the what the area we are living is the considered to be that inside that 30 percentage, and that 70 percentage of land is considering logging areas, desert areas, and thick forested areas, isn't it? So this kind of areas is not preferable for the living beings to live conveniently. So only few peoples and few living beings will be there. So that's why these areas are known as sparsely populated or uninhabited. Okay, this is completed. Then usage of land. See, nowadays this real estate is getting very upcoming business, isn't it? Why? What is the reason is that is according to the value of the land. If you are fixing a price for a land means that land should have so many facilities towards it too for a convenient living. That is the importance we have to see when we buy a land or when we sell a land, isn't it? So what are all the facilities a land should have? Land is used, and what all the purpose we are getting a land is, the main purpose is for agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, for roads, and for setting up industries. So these are all the main things which is very useful for the people, human beings, isn't it? So for this purpose only we are adopting a land, we are buying a land, or we are selling a land. See, if a people want to do agriculture, they are getting a land. They want to create a garden, they are getting a land, or mining, forest, or whatever it may be. If we want to build house or any building, we are getting a land. Okay, so these are all the important usage in which the land helps us. Okay, so this is commonly termed as land use. So what is the purpose for which we are using the land is known as the land use. Okay, so then this use of land is determined by physical factors such as, what is mean by physical factors? Physical factors is nothing but, as I told you before, when we are buying or selling a land, we will consider so many things which is inside or around the land. How is the water facility in the land? What is the soil condition in the land? And how is the surrounding is there? These are all the things which we will discuss when we are talking about a land. So what are all the things we have to discuss is physical factors, that's all. Topography, soil, climate, minerals, and availability of water. So out of this, you know what is mean by soil, what is climate, minerals, we discussed in the last class, and availability of water means at how many feet we are able to get the water, and what is the taste of the water, what is the condition of the water. These things all make the difference of land. And topography, what is mean by topography is the physical characteristics of an area of land such as a river, mountains, and etc. So topography is nothing but the condition or the level of the land, whether that land is located near a river or near a pond or near a mountain or near seashore. This is known as the topography of a land, because if a land is located near the sea, surely the water under that land will be salty. We can't get a clear water there. If suppose that land is located near a river, surely we can tell that the water will be very good in taste, and we will get water in few feet itself. Okay, so these are all the things which is making a land very costlier, or whatever the usage of land. Okay, so whenever we buy a land or we sell a land, we have to, whatever the usages we have to have in land, we must consider these things and all: topography, soil, climate, minerals, and availability of water. See, topography means if a people has to do agriculture means ground agriculture na, they will cultivate rice, wheat, sugarcane and etc. They need a plain land, so they need not need the land which is on the top of the mountain or something else. If the land is near the river or if the land is near the pond, it will be very useful for them. Okay, so if suppose that agriculture has been done in a mountain place like Ooty, Kodaikanal and wherever it is, means they will cultivate a different kinds of plants like carrot, potato, cabbage, cauliflower, isn't it? For that kind of plants, the soil should be in another condition and the land form should be in a mountain format. For such conditions, that people prefer the land which is near the mountain or at the top of the mountain. So as per our use, the conditions of the land is also varying. So soil is very very important feature. Even if we are building a building also, we have to make confirmation with by means of soil whether it is in a good condition or in a bad condition. Then climatic conditions, see for example, if I told you near a sea means throughout the year we may have the hot climate, and if it is near the river or something else, or if it is on the top of the mountain, means we might have few times we will have cold condition, few times we will have hot condition, isn't it? So that is known as climatic conditions. And minerals, see if suppose we are buying a land for creating a mine or an industry or petroleum mine, likewise means we are going to consider that what kind of minerals is inside there. See in Valudur power station, in that area we are able to get the current, isn't it? So that's why we are they are creating a power station there. And in so many areas we might have been seen that petrol mines has been created, because in that area we can get the crude oil or that white petrol or whatever it is, we can get that are all the, that is known as the minerals, isn't it? So even coal mine is there, diamond mine is there, gold mine is there. So whatever it is, that is the mineral which is able to get towards the land. And next is availability of water. This is a very very important feature, because each and everything whatever we have to complete, we need the help of water. Without water we can't do anything. And at the same time always we can't think that we will get the water only by means of rain. We have to, sometimes we have to take the water from the ground also. So in such cases, as per our use, we have to consider whether the water facility is clear or not. So okay, this was completed. Then this land has been classified into main two categories, that one is private land, next one is community land, or we can tell it as common land also. By the name itself you can easily understand what is private land and what is community land. Private land is nothing but it will be owned by a single person or a group of persons. It is actually a private property. Only the property owner can do anything in that land. Community land or common land is a public property which is used for the purpose of the public utilities. Okay, this is the two types of lands we are having. And next one is property resources. So people and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. So people need more and more usage of land, but the availability of land is very very limited, isn't it? So see, if there is a land for agriculture or there is a land for building construction, means so many peoples will be competing to get that land, isn't it? So availability, usage is more but availability is less. So in such cases what people will do, people started encroaching. Underline that word, encroaching. What is the meaning of the word encroaching? Is to use more than what we can use. Actually we will have some restriction to use that thing, but out of this competitive world we have to win, isn't it? So for that purpose we are doing much more things what we should not do in that. That is known as encroaching. So encroaching the common lands. Common lands means for example, so many common lands has been privatized, isn't it? They are they will make a document that land is belonging to them, that land is traditional property of them. Likewise, they will create some documents, isn't it? That is known as encroaching. In Tamil, if we tell in Tamil that Porambokku Nelam, we will tell, isn't it? So in such cases, they will create a fake document for that lands, and they will tell that it is the private property. Okay, so then lands to build up commercial areas, housing complexes, urban areas, and so many extras. Then land degradation, it is given in the last fourth line. Okay, land degradation means less respected. The value of the land has been restricted. Okay, that is known as land degradation. And landslides, man sarivu, we will tell, isn't it? So soil erosion means man aripu. Then in desertification, okay, desertification means making an area of land into desert. Desertification, desert, that word has been given in the same word, desertification. Desertification means for a long period, even if it is a cultivation area also, for a long period, if that area has been not cultivated or not used, or we don't have even a single drop of water there, no source of water, everything, if it is happening again and again, that area has all sources to convert into a desert. Okay, that is known as desertification. So these are all the things in which way the land can be used. Okay, we will see one more topic regarding land, that is conservation of land. Conservation, you know the meaning, how we can safeguard, how we can use limitedly, how we can make it clear. Okay, that is known as conservation of land resources. So we learned this about the previous lesson also. We have to save the resources for our future generation too, isn't it? So conservation of land, how can we save this land resource? So how can we save? This is afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical pesticide and fertilizers, and check on the organizing or some of the common methods used to conserve the land resources. What does mean by afforestation? See, nowadays deforestation is very regularing. So for this is main default which we are facing today, because without the trees and forest we can't do anything. So for the awareness, for creating awareness of this, nowadays people are cultivating or planting so many trees, isn't it? This is known as afforestation, creating a new forest or creating new plants. Okay, this is known as afforestation. Then land reclamation means we have to use that land again and again. This is for the agricultural purpose. See, if suppose for in one climate, if we are cultivating rice or something else, in the next climate we will cultivate sugarcane, jute or something. Okay, this is known as, we have to use it for the many purpose. This is known as land reclamation. And regulated use of chemical pesticides. Whenever we are cultivating or doing any agricultural processes, we should not use chemical pesticides. We must try to avoid it, and we have to use only organic pesticides. Okay, pesticides is nothing but the chemicals which we are using for the growth of a plant. If we use that, the plant will grow well, and we can get the usage of that plant in a quick time. This is known as use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. And check on the organizing or some of the common methods of. So if we follow these things, we will be able to conserve the land resource. So as the time is running out, I will wind up with this. We will start seeing the soil topic in the next class. Till this, if you have any doubt, you can contact me in the group. Okay ma, thank you.